You have reached a point in your journey where the whispers of destiny are no longer faint, no longer hidden in the background of your days. They are rising, like a tide that cannot be resisted, calling you into a self you have not yet seen, an identity you have not yet lived. Chosen one. This is the moment when the fragments of who you once thought you were begin to fall away, and the truth of who you are meant to be steps forward. This truth is not loud in the beginning, but it is undeniable. It is the kind of presence that grows, shaping you, stretching you, sometimes breaking you down only so it can raise you higher than before. The world will not always understand the transformation happening within you, because it is not a simple shift of habits or decisions. It is the rebirth of an identity, a version of you that carries power, vision, and energy unlike anything you've known. Before we go further, I want you to stay with me until the very end of this message, because every part of it carries something meant for you. And I invite you to join this journey with your own heart by writing in the comments below. Share your warmest wishes and write the number 66 as a symbol of alignment and manifestation. This is the chapter where wishes begin to take shape, where they are not just thoughts, but energy released into the universe. Together, as you release your wishes and add your voice, you are not just watching passively. You are becoming part of the current that lifts you and everyone else higher. This rising into a new identity is not something that happens overnight. It is not as if one morning you wake up and everything has changed. Rather, it begins with subtle shifts inside you, the quiet realization that the things which once defined you no longer hold the same weight. You start noticing the old labels peeling away. What once gave you security may now feel too small, too limiting. You begin to see that the person you thought you were was only a preparation, a foundation for what was always waiting. The you that is emerging is not an improved version of the old self. It is something entirely different. It is like moving from one dimension into another, where the rules are no longer the same. And because you've never seen this version of yourself before, it feels both exciting and unsettling. You are called to trust a process that cannot be fully explained. In this rising, there is often a breaking. The old identity resists being left behind. It will try to hold you in place with fear, with doubts, with memories of who you used to be. But the truth is, those echoes no longer have power over you unless you choose to give it. The breaking is necessary because it creates space. Space for courage to enter. Space for clarity to form. Space for the vision of who you are becoming to settle in your spirit. And though the breaking hurts, it is never the end. It is always the beginning of something greater. A signal that you are stepping closer to the identity your soul has been carrying all along. You may not yet recognize yourself in this new light, but that does not mean it isn't you. It simply means you are meeting yourself for the first time in the fullness of your power. Think about how a seed carries the entire blueprint of a tree within it. Yet to the eye, it looks small, insignificant, fragile. When the seed cracks, it looks like destruction. But in truth, it is birth. That is you now. The cracking open of who you thought you were is giving way to the growth of the self you are meant to embody. This self has always existed, but now it steps into visibility, into action, into reality. Chosen one, your rising is not only for you. The universe does not waste transformation. The identity you are stepping into carries a purpose beyond your own healing, beyond your own growth. It carries a resonance that touches others, even those you may never meet. Every time you rise, you create a ripple that inspires, awakens, and elevates. Your journey is not isolated, it is connected. That is why this process feels so weighty at times, because it is not just your personal story. It is part of something bigger, a story written across generations, across energies, across the very fabric of existence. You will find that as this new identity rises within you, the world around you begins to respond differently. People may no longer react to you the same way they once did. Some will feel drawn to your energy without even understanding why, while others may feel unsettled, unable to place what has changed in you. Relationships may shift, opportunities may appear, and even challenges may intensify. But every response is a reflection of the power you now carry. The identity you are stepping into is magnetic, and magnetism is never neutral. It attracts, it repels, it shifts the environment around it. This is why the journey requires strength. Rising into an identity you've never seen before means learning to stand firm when everything around you feels uncertain. It means trusting the pull inside your spirit, even when logic cannot explain it. It means saying yes to growth even when comfort calls you back. And it means remembering that you are never truly alone in this process. The path may feel lonely at times, because few understand the depth of what you carry. But you are accompanied by unseen forces, by the wisdom of your own higher self, by the energy of the universe aligning with you. The identity you are stepping into does not look like anything you've known before, because it is not a repetition of the past. It is not built from imitation, nor is it limited by old definitions. It is original. It is authentic. It is the purest reflection of your essence, brought into form in a way that has never existed in this world until now. That is why it feels unfamiliar. That is why it feels new. You are becoming the evidence of a possibility that has never been seen, and your life is the canvas on which it is being painted. To rise into this identity, you must release comparison. You cannot measure yourself against others in this season, because no one else carries what you carry. No one else is becoming who you are becoming. The uniqueness of your rising is what makes it powerful. If you look for a blueprint in others, you will only limit yourself. This is uncharted territory, a path that only reveals itself as you walk it. And while that can feel overwhelming, it is also freeing. It means you are not bound to repeat what has been done before. You are creating something new simply by existing in the fullness of yourself. This process requires patience. You cannot rush it, because the identity you are stepping into must be formed in depth, not just on the surface. It is not about appearances, but about essence. It is not about proving, but about being. Every experience you face is shaping this identity within you. Every challenge is carving out strength. Every moment of silence is deepening your wisdom. Every victory, no matter how small, is anchoring your confidence. And even the setbacks, the times when you feel you've lost your way, are part of the shaping. Nothing is wasted. Every piece matters. The unknown will test you, but it will also reveal you. You cannot discover your true identity in the familiar, because the familiar is tied to the old self. The unfamiliar is where you meet the new. It is in the unknown that you see what you are capable of, that you stretch into capacities you didn't know you had. It is there that you realize the person you once thought was weak was only waiting for the right moment to rise. And that moment is now. You are not defined by what you have lost, by what has ended, or by what has broken. You are defined by what you are becoming. The past was necessary, but it is not the measure of your future. The identity rising in you is not built from old wounds, but from new wholeness. It is not built from fear, but from power. It is not built from scarcity, but from abundance. Every time you let go of the old, you make room for the new to take root. And the more you release, the freer you become to embody the fullness of this identity. Chosen one. The rising will demand courage. It will ask you to trust what you cannot see, to believe in what you cannot yet touch, to walk forward when the path is not visible. But courage does not mean the absence of fear. Courage means moving forward even with fear, knowing that something greater is guiding you. The identity within you is stronger than any fear outside you. The energy inside you is more powerful than any resistance against you. You are rising, not because it is easy, but because it is inevitable. The time has come, and nothing can hold back what is meant to be revealed. The old self may try to whisper that you are not ready. It may remind you of your failures, of the times you fell short, of the mistakes you've made. But the truth is, every mistake, every shortcoming, every failure has prepared you. They were not the end. They were the training ground. They shaped your resilience, your awareness, your vision. They built the foundation on which this new identity now stands. You are not disqualified by your past. You are qualified by your persistence. And that persistence is what carries you now into the fullness of who you are becoming. This rising will also awaken desires in you that you never knew were there. Passions that once seemed dormant will stir again. Dreams you thought were gone will return in new forms. New visions will open, and you will feel the pull toward paths you never considered. This is not coincidence. It is alignment. The identity within you is drawing you toward the spaces where you are meant to live fully, where you are meant to create, where you are meant to give and receive. The desires rising within you are not random. They are guidance. At times, you may feel like you are walking blind, like you do not know where this process is leading. But remember, you are not meant to see every step in advance. You are meant to trust the unfolding. Just as a seed cannot see the tree it will become, you cannot yet see the full picture of who you are rising into. But that does not make it any less real. The tree is already within the seed. The identity is already within you. It is simply waiting for its time to emerge, and that time is now. You are becoming someone you have never seen before, but you are not becoming a stranger. You are becoming the truest version of yourself, the one who was always hidden beneath layers of fear, doubt, expectation, and limitation. That version is rising now, unstoppable, undeniable, radiant. And as it rises, everything in your life will begin to align with it. Opportunities, relationships, resources, and experiences will begin to match the energy of who you are becoming. So stand in this moment with confidence, chosen one. You do not need to understand everything. You do not need to control everything. You simply need to say yes to the rising, yes to the identity within you, yes to the journey unfolding before you. Because this is not the end of your story. It is the beginning of the truest one. The journey of rising deeper into this new identity is like entering a house you have never walked into before. At first, everything feels unfamiliar. The walls are strange, the rooms are filled with shadows, and you do not yet know where each doorway leads. Yet, as you explore, you begin to see that this house was always built for you. It is spacious enough to hold your vision, strong enough to support your weight, and open enough to allow light to flood every corner. The more you step into this space, the more it begins to feel like home. That is what rising into a new identity feels like. It feels strange, and then it feels inevitable. It feels foreign, and then it feels like destiny. This process will bring you face to face with mirrors you have never looked into before. You will see parts of yourself that surprise you, parts that humble you, and parts that ignite a fire in you. Some reflections will reveal strengths you never acknowledged, gifts you never celebrated, and resilience you never knew you had. Other reflections will show you places where growth is still needed, where healing must be allowed, where forgiveness must flow. And in those moments, you will understand that rising into a new identity is not about perfection. It is about wholeness. It is about allowing every part of yourself, the light, the shadow, the past, the future, to merge into a self that is authentic and complete. There will be moments when the weight of transformation feels heavy, times when you wonder if you have the energy to keep going, when the old identity calls you back with its comfort, whispering that it is safer to stay as you were, safer to remain unseen. But you will know, deep down, that you cannot go back. The pull of destiny is stronger than the grip of comfort. And even in your most tired moments, something inside you will refuse to let go. That something is the truth of who you are, reminding you that no amount of fear can silence what was born to rise. As you continue walking this path, you will begin to see that every challenge is a teacher. The obstacles you face are not meant to crush you, but to carve you. They shape your patience, sharpen your wisdom, and strengthen your resolve. When doors close, it is not rejection, it is redirection. When people walk away, it is not abandonment, it is alignment. Every shift, every ending, every uncomfortable twist of the path is creating space for the identity within you to shine without limits. It is all part of the preparation for the life you are stepping into. One of the most profound parts of this transformation is realizing how much power you truly carry. The old identity may have convinced you that you were small, that your voice didn't matter, that your presence was insignificant. But the new identity rising within you knows better. It knows that you were created to carry impact. It knows that your presence shifts the energy of any space you enter. It knows that your voice carries frequencies that awaken others. And the more you lean into this truth, the more you begin to see your influence ripple outward in ways you cannot always measure. You will also notice that clarity comes more often in silence. The old identity thrived on noise, distractions, doubts, external opinions. But the new identity thrives in stillness, where your own inner wisdom can be heard clearly. In the silence, you will discover answers you didn't know you carried. You will feel nudges guiding you toward people, places, and opportunities that align with who you are becoming. Silence is no longer empty. It is filled with guidance, with vision, with strength. The unfolding of this identity is not rushed. It comes in layers like the rising of the sun. First a glow on the horizon, then rays breaking through, and finally, the full light illuminating everything around you. Each stage is important. Each stage reveals more of who you are. And though the process may feel slow at times, you must remember that it is purposeful. Greatness is not built in haste. It is built with depth, with care, with intentional steps forward. You may also find people respond to your rising in different ways. Some will celebrate you, seeing in you the reflection of their own possibilities. Others will resist you, not because you are doing anything wrong, but because your growth confronts their stagnation. And still others will quietly observe, unsure of how to process the changes they see. Do not let any of these responses define you. Your rising is not dependent on their approval. Your identity is not subject to their understanding. You are becoming who you are meant to be, and that is enough. The identity you are stepping into requires courage not only to move forward, but also to let go. Letting go of the old is not always easy. It may mean releasing friendships that no longer support your growth, habits that drain your energy, or beliefs that no longer serve your truth. It may mean saying goodbye to environments that once felt comfortable but now feel too small. But with every release, you are making space for what is aligned, for what is expansive, for what carries the same energy as your rising. The letting go is not loss, it is liberation. Chosen one, you will come to understand that this journey is not about becoming someone else. It is about becoming fully yourself, the truest, purest, most powerful version of you. It is not about gaining something external, but about uncovering what was already within. The identity rising in you is not borrowed, not imitated, not given by anyone else. It is yours. It was always yours. And now the time has come for it to live fully in the light. The days ahead will stretch you, but they will also reward you. Every moment of courage will open new doors. Every act of trust will reveal new paths. Every choice to keep moving will build new strength. And as you continue, you will begin to realize that the identity you thought you were stepping into is only the beginning. There will always be more layers to uncover, more depth to discover, more truth to embody. This rising is not a one-time event. It is a lifelong unfolding. So walk boldly, even when the road feels uncertain. Stand tall, even when doubt tries to bend your spirit. Keep moving, even when fear tells you to stop. Because every step you take is a declaration that you are no longer bound by who you once were, that you are no longer hiding in the shadows, that you are no longer shrinking to fit into spaces too small for your soul. You are rising, chosen one, into an identity you have never seen before, and that rising will change everything. There comes a time in every transformation when the shift is no longer only internal, but begins to overflow outward. You may notice yourself carrying yourself differently, speaking with a new authority, or approaching situations with a calmness you did not possess before. This is not arrogance. This is not pretense. This is alignment. It is the natural result of embodying the identity that has been waiting for you all along. And even if you cannot always see the progress day by day, others will begin to notice. They will see the change in your eyes, hear it in your tone, and feel it in your presence. The energy of your becoming cannot be hidden, even if you try. Yet, this very visibility brings new challenges. With each layer of identity that rises, life will test your commitment to it. Situations may arise that tempt you to shrink back into old patterns, to compromise the truth you've discovered, to mute the power you now hold. But these tests are not here to defeat you. They are here to refine you. Each time you choose to stand firm in your rising, the identity within you grows stronger, more solid, more unshakable. What once felt fragile becomes unbreakable. What once felt uncertain becomes undeniable. It is important to remember that rising into a new identity does not mean you will no longer feel fear or doubt. These emotions may still appear, but they no longer rule you. They may whisper, but they do not command. They may linger, but they do not lead. What leads you now is vision, conviction, and the knowing that you were made for more. And when fear and doubt do show up, they become opportunities for you to anchor yourself deeper into your new self, to remind yourself that the old ways no longer define you. As you step further into this new season, you will find that you begin to attract experiences that mirror your growth. Opportunities you once thought were out of reach will begin to present themselves. Connections that align with your truth will start to appear. You will find yourself in environments where your gifts are recognized and your voice is valued. This is not coincidence. It is the universe adjusting itself to the frequency of who you are becoming. It is proof that when you rise, the world rises to meet you. Still, this journey will require discernment. Not every opportunity is meant for you. Not every connection carries the energy of alignment. Part of embodying a new identity is learning to say no without guilt, to walk away without regret, to trust that what is meant for you will never require you to shrink or compromise. The old identity may have sought validation through acceptance, but the new identity knows that not every door is worth walking through. True alignment is not about abundance alone. It is about the right abundance, the right connections, the right spaces that allow you to thrive. This rising is also an invitation to responsibility. With greater awareness comes greater accountability. You cannot unknow what you now know. You cannot pretend to be less than who you are becoming. And while this may feel heavy at times, it is also liberating. For the first time, you are free to live without pretense, free to exist without apology, free to step into spaces without carrying masks. The responsibility of this new identity is not about burden. It is about authenticity. And authenticity, while it may cost you some things, will give you everything that truly matters. As you grow into this self you have never seen before, you will realize that transformation is not only about what you gain, but also about what you release. You will let go of old versions of yourself with gratitude, understanding that they carried you as far as they could. You will forgive yourself for the times you lived small, knowing that even in those moments, you were preparing for this one. You will stop punishing yourself for past choices, because every choice led you to the threshold of your rising. And in that release, you will feel lighter, freer, more ready than ever to embrace the fullness of who you are. The identity rising in you is not static. It is alive, dynamic, and constantly unfolding. Just as the ocean never stops moving, just as the stars never stop shining, your becoming is continuous. Every experience, every breath, every step forward is part of that unfolding. You are not meant to reach a finish line where you declare yourself complete. You are meant to keep evolving, keep expanding, keep discovering new depths of what it means to be you. That is the beauty of this journey. It never truly ends, because you are infinite in your potential. There will be days when the process feels messy, when the clarity is clouded, when you wonder if you are truly making progress. On those days, remember this: rising is not always about dramatic leaps. Sometimes it is about quiet persistence. Sometimes it is about simply choosing not to give up. Sometimes it is about holding faith when nothing seems to be moving. Even in those hidden, ordinary moments, your identity is still rising, still forming, still anchoring itself in your spirit. Progress is not always visible, but it is always happening. Chosen one. This season is asking you to trust yourself more deeply than you ever have before, to listen to the quiet knowing inside you, even when others cannot understand it. To take steps that may not make sense to anyone else, but feel undeniably right to your soul. This is not the time to live by the expectations of others. This is the time to live by the truth within you. And as you do, you will see that the identity you are stepping into was not just waiting for you, it has been calling you all along. Every moment of hesitation you have faced, every season of waiting, every trial that tested you was not a delay but a preparation. Now you are ready to carry the weight of your vision, ready to step into the life that mirrors your authenticity, ready to embody the self that has been hidden beneath layers of fear and doubt. You are no longer preparing, you are rising. And the more you accept this truth, the more you will see the evidence of it manifest in every area of your life. The unknown will not always feel safe, but it will always be necessary. For in the unknown, you discover the parts of yourself that routine could never reveal. You learn what it means to create from nothing, to trust without certainty, to build without guarantees. And in doing so, you uncover the essence of your new identity. A self that is unafraid to live fully, unafraid to walk boldly, unafraid to shine unapologetically. That is the gift of rising into an identity you have never seen before. It makes you unstoppable. As you embrace this truth, you will begin to see that every step into the unknown is a step toward freedom. Every choice to rise beyond fear, every act of courage, every moment you honor your own voice strengthens the foundation of the identity that is uniquely yours. You are no longer confined by old limitations, old stories, or old expectations. You are becoming the person you were always meant to be, radiant, empowered, and fully aligned with your purpose. And as this new self continues to emerge, it will not only transform your own life but ripple outward, inspiring and awakening those around you to rise into the fullness of who they are as well. This is the power, the gift, and the inevitability of your rising, unstoppable, undeniable, and eternally yours.